Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to Sean Inspires podcast. I am Sean Allen, your life coach and podcast host of the Sean Inspires show. And today we have an amazing guest who is sitting in with me. I am so excited to feature the amazing Dana L. Wilson. So I'm going to go ahead and read Dana's bio, but also when I'm done, I'll have Dana come in her own way and share her story as we go into today's segment. I have Dana Wilson is a Diversity and Inclusion Award winner named One to Watch in FinTech from Money 2020, a 2021 trailblazer from Black Women in Media, and an experienced financial professional with over 15 years in the financial services industry. She graduated from North Carolina Central University, where she received her Bachelor of Business Administration with a concentration in marketing. She is currently an executive MBA candidate of Penn State University, Smeal School of Business, studying strategic leadership and completing a concentration in corporate innovation. Dana is the founder and CEO of CHIP, Changing How Individuals Prosper, a B2B financial services marketplace that makes it easy to find Black and Latinx financial professionals. Before starting CHIP, Dana worked as an investment advisor at a large and independent firms. She was a previous startup coach teaching business planning and sales and marketing for Apps Without Code, a no-code bootcamp program for entrepreneurs to build and scale their apps. She is also the leading strategy and operations for Supernova Scholars Program, which focuses on helping HBCU students obtain careers in the financial services industry. Outside of all the business, Dana loves to travel, is an active cyclist, marathon runner, tech enthusiast, avid reader. She too is a podcast host of the Included Series podcast. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority and a pet parent to a Frenchie named Bryson. Dana, this is an impressive bio. So welcome to the Sean Inspire Show. So if you could just share a little bit with the audience about Dana L. Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, my Frenchie's in the background snoring. So if you happen to hear anything, that's who that is. It is not me. I promise. But no, yeah, thank you for having me, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here. It's really amazing to just be able to live in your dream and live authentically and do, what makes you happy every morning. And I feel like I get to do that. I mean, it's crazy as the day seems, and being an entrepreneur, being a startup founder, basically trying to be in the trenches and build what I in my head call Amazon, right? And what that took and what we all kind of feel on a day-to-day basis as startup founders or just founders and business owners in general. Being able to pull all of my passions within the financial industry into creating more inclusion internally in financial services, and then externally for people of color, specifically Black and Latinx, to ensure that we are the wealth architects of our lives. And I think
I
that's,
love that.
yeah,
I
that's
love how
really
you
one of
use
my
wealth
biggest.
architects. I love that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like we have to be in the driver's seat. And for so long, we haven't been, and we haven't really been invited to this space or even seen ourselves reflected in this industry. So that's a lot of the reason why I started CHIP.
Absolutely. And so we are in we're celebrating women all across the globe this month. And this is one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on as a woman, as a business leader, one, to honor you. When I came across your company in the financial planning .com article where you were featured, I knew that I needed to have you on because one, you have an amazing track and you have an amazing story that is loaded with so much that could empower and inspire the listening audience. And so I love how you mentioned doing what you love and living in purpose. And so prior to all of that, even I want to tap into maybe growing up. Did you envision being a leader or creator or founder of your own company growing up? Was that something always in your heart or in the forefront of your mind that you really wanted to do or saw yourself doing in the future as you're doing now?
Absolutely not. I think some people, and that's a real thing, right? Couldn't be realer than that. No, I didn't. When I was a kid growing up, I grew up with really just, my mom as a single parent, who, she worked at the same job for 45 years, and I got to see all of what it took to raise a family, build a family, on her own, which is something magnificent to see, just a Black woman do that and survive and thrive while raising, a teenager, well, kid to teenager, who was always kind of finding her way, getting into minor things here and here and there, just like minor, just, the evolution of being a kid. But I was always one to build. I love to play with Legos. I love to build things. I am a lover of astronomy and science. So I always said if I wasn't in this industry or fell into this industry, I'd probably be somewhere working for NASA, up in space doing whatever that would be. But I never saw myself going down the path of being an entrepreneur, nor did I really understand, I think at that age, what an entrepreneur was, because I saw my mother on this track of working for a company, and, her company gave her everything. That doesn't happen nowadays, the stuff that she had access to at that time, and worked at a company for that long. But I never really saw myself in that position of owning my own business, having that type of spotlight on me. I wasn't necessarily a shy kid, but I also didn't gravitate to, speaking out or just speaking up and like doing all these different things. I mean, I had a plethora of friends. I was always kind of the comedian, the jokester, to some degree. But I think all of that has kind of served me well in catapulting me into this space now, and just being able to live in a way that is exactly who you are. I think for a long time, especially after graduating college, I thought I had to fit into this particular mold of what my life was supposed to look like. So I, graduated from North Carolina Central University, proud HBCU graduate. So shout out to all the HBCUs, specifically, shout out to my Eagle family. But with this track of, okay, you go to school, you go to college, you get your degree, then you work. And then after that, you go and you get your MBA, because that's what I thought life was. And I kept kind of forcing myself down particular paths. And I think that when you do that, those paths just don't work out. So graduating, working for a bit, and then putting myself on this path. Okay, well, this is the time I need to go back and do my MBA and look at all these top tier schools. And, I am not a person who likes standardized tests. I don't know if it's just me and my brain doesn't work that way. But having to study and prepare for those it was exhausting, and it wasn't fun. And of course it never is, but the way I would study for my investment exams was completely different. I was all in, I was engaged. I was just kind of soaking up all the material. And sometimes you just have to not fight where God is leading you to be. So
yes, amazing. And so you're segueing right into where I want to go, because recently, within the past year and a half, you have graced so many different platforms, so many different featured articles, success story, magazine covers, articles featured. How do you remain grounded with all that you are carrying and all that you have been chosen to carry? How do you remain grounded and anchored in a way that you do not feel overwhelmed, but still moving in that same joy that we hear today?
Oh yeah, I think for me, it's just been my friends. I surround myself with really, really good humans, and I say humans versus people because I do think there is a distinct difference. I think humans are grounded in really good energy and empathy and love and support, and people just kind of move about the world in whatever fashion that kind of comes in. But being around people with that same energy and that same love for you, who want to see you successful, where there's no competition, it's just pure love and support, makes a big difference in how you live your life. And I think staying grounded and really connected to those souls who exchange the same energy that you do, just helps you to do that. And sometimes that comes in all sorts of forms, whether it's a partner in that type of relationship, or it's just your friends who are also your soulmates who are there to check you and then also lift you up at the same time in a very just comforting manner that lets you know that, hey, you're like, you might have all this other stuff going on, but you can continue to be who you're supposed to be in this world. And for me, it's just been leaning on a lot of that, staying grounded in my faith. I think God always keeps you humble. So,
Mm-hmm.
In the spaces where you start to deviate, I think he always kind of creates those paths to bring you back to center. And when he feels like you're kind of getting away from what your purpose is in life, he will put you back on it, whether it's through, possible pain or things that happen. You will get back on that path and he will continue to uplift you from there and keep all of those things around you that make you glow and make you successful. So for me, it's just been grace. It's also been just really appreciation for what I have been able to build thus far and the support that I've had from peers in this industry, because you don't get anywhere by yourself. And I think people need to constantly remember that it's not just you on this little island. It's also all these other individuals who pour into you and support you, some that you will never meet. Some might just send you a note, and some people just send me notes on maybe LinkedIn or social media. And they're just like, I see you, I see what you're doing. And I think sometimes that makes a world of difference in a world where we're so disconnected, but so interconnected as well.
Indeed, I would say that. So guys, you're out there listening, make sure that you are curating your space. As Dana have mentioned, with a healthy tribe and individuals that sharpen you. So as she unveiled how she remains grounded as a leader, as a woman in leadership, she uses that as a tool. So make sure even now, today may be the day that you might want to analyze your social setting, your personal setting, your business setting, and make sure that they're aiding you in a way that is producing you to become the best version of yourself. So,
and that's a constant thing.
Absolutely, I'm with you 125%. I totally agree, and two, if I might go ahead and piggyback on that, just
Absolutely.
a few weeks ago, I released a quote, a Sean Inspires quote on one of the media outlets, and I shared with them, be sure that you're curating your space and your atmosphere in a way that it postures you for not where you are, but where you're going and what your future is calling you to. And oftentimes, individuals, as you mentioned, my word, I don't hear people say my word all the time. You said move about the world. That is one of my words. Oftentimes, as we move about the world, we don't want to pause and we do not want to take time to really assess and look at what is moving around us so that we are supported, so that we are uplifted, so that we are supercharged to carry and to function and to flow where we're not feeling overwhelmed. Which leads right into the next the question. In the finance world, you are which was at one time a predominantly men environment. Did you ever, or do you feel any added pressure, possibly to overperform or match that of other males who are in the industry at all? Have you ever felt any undercurrent of pressure? Because there are not many women. They're rising now and being pushed to the forefront. But I would like to know, as a woman, and I honor that you have stepped up in a realm of business that is not the easiest to tackle and not the easiest to lead.
Yeah, I mean, I have tried my best, especially as I continue to grow and evolve, to really not compare myself to others. And I know that's super hard sometimes to do, and especially in a space of social media. And it's funny, in my group chat, we actually had sent a meme around this morning that talked a little bit about that, not putting age or, anything on your goals, because that's really not important. And it's the same thing with people as well. So I try not to put any undue pressure on myself based on what other people are doing. I'm not here to be the next anyone by myself. I just want to be the best version of what Dana can be and what I can put into this world. And I feel like if I can just continue to center and focus around that and keep the noise out as much as possible, it again will just draw in more of the energy that I want to surround myself with and keep a lot of that stress down. Now, don't get me wrong, like there's definitely stressors and all the things that come with running a business and wanting to